Hello guys, today we are going to look at how we can able to convert a standard form of a quadratic to a vertex form. This is a vertex form which is a outside x minus h all squared plus k, where h and k is the vertex point, and this is a standard form of a quadratic. So this is a question that we have been given: x squared minus 10 x plus 25. So if we want to convert this standard into a vertex form, we are going to use a technique of the completing squares. We have dealt with that in one of the watch that to review a little bit, because we are going to speed up using the procedure here. So we will take our c to the other side. Okay. So here we want to make here 0, so we will subtract here 23, and we will do the same thing on the right hand side. So we will get our x squared minus 10. Here we take our b, so our b is a coefficient of the x, so our b here is negative 10. We divide it by 2 and we get negative 5. We square it and we get 25. So once we get this 25, that's the 25, we are going to add it here on the left hand side, and we do the same thing on the right hand side. And we realize that the left hand side become perfect trinomial. So we look for number that we multiply, we get positive 25. And when we add, we get negative 10. Realize that it's going to be negative 5 repeated. So our next example, we will not be doing all that, because we realize that anytime we divide the b divided by 2, that number is the one that become the repeated perfect trinomial. So here we will get our perfect trinomial. It will be this here, and here will give us 2, and realize that this becomes a, we take one of it and we put square here, and is equals to that. What we do is that now we are going to bring this to back here. So it's positive. When it comes there, it's going to be negative, because we are making a 0 over there. We have to subtract. Get negative 2, and it's equals to 0. And this is the vertex. This is the vertex form of a quadratic. So we're able to this standard change it to this vertex form here. And the point, the vertex point, the vertex point is here. You see that negative 5, but when it comes here, it's going to be positive 5 and negative 2. So this is the vertex point. For second example, we have x squared plus 4x minus 14 equals to 0. So what we do is that we have to take our constant to the right hand side, and positive 14. We take our b, which is 4, we divide it by 2, and we get 2 here. And as I said it from the first example, I said is that the b divided by 2 is the one that normally become the perfect trinomial repeated that, so we just skip that step. And then we square this number and we get 4, and we add it here. So here we got 18. And then after that, we bring it back. So you see now we are getting the procedure, so it's more quicker once you get the rhythm. And then it becomes negative 18 here equals to 0. So now we have able to get, this is the Vertex form of this standard quadratic equation. And then the Vertex point, will be opposite of whatever is here is positive, so it's going to be negative, so it's going to be negative 2, and here is negative. The way you see it, that's how you get the y coordinate, and we are done. All right, our next example, we have 2x squared minus 4x minus 14 equals to 0. We want to convert this standard into the Vertex form here. We are going to use the completing squares, but before we can use the completing squares, the coefficient of the x squares have to be 1, but here is 2, so we have to get rid of it. Realize that 2 is divisible by negative 4 and negative 14, so we will do that. We'll divide all of it by positive 2, so we can pick that. So we're dividing here by 2, this by 2, this by 2. You can say that this also by 2. We want to be fairly, want to give everybody 2, 2, so we will be fair. Okay, so here it will go away. We will be x squared here minus negative 4 divided by 2 give us negative 2x here. Negative 14 divided by 2 give us negative 7 here. 0 divided by any number is 0. Now we need to take our constant to the right hand side. Now we need our b, which is negative 2. We divide it by 2 and we get negative 1. And remember that one that comes right here. So we have x minus 1 all squared. And then we square this and we get 1. And we add that 1 to this constant here. And we get 8 and we write it here. And then finally we bring it inside and then we get x minus 1 all squared minus 8 equals to 0. We can bring back the 2 that we divided to get the original stuff. So we can bring it back and then we can say, okay, then it becomes 2, then x minus 1 all squared. And we have to multiply this one by 2 too, so we get negative 16. And that. And then we're done. Okay, so if we have this one here, 5x squared minus 30x equals to 5. This is kind of a little closer to the standard form. For it to be a standard form, the right hand side have to be 0. It's not like that. So this is, but it looks like it's very closer to a standard form, but they want us to rewrite this one into a Vertex form. So let's go. As I said before, we can able to use the completing squares, which will help us to get into the Vertex form. We need to make a equals to 1, but here there is 5, so we have to divide the 5 across board. So we will divide here by 5. We do the same thing here, and likewise here. Get that? Negative 30 divided by 5 gives us 6x. And 5 divided by 5 is 1. So here we take our b, which is negative 6. We divide it by 2, which is negative 3. And that's the point that comes here. A repeated trinomial, double square here. We square the b divided by 2, we get 9. And we add it to the constant here, and that gives us 10. We bring it back to the fold. So we get x minus 3 all squared minus 10 or equals to 0. So now we have able to learn the vertex form. And if you're looking for the vertex point, that becomes 3, negative 10 as a vertex point. And if you want to bring the 5 back, the one that we divided, we also write it as 5 x minus 3 all squared, and then we multiply that by that, we get 50 equals to that. But this is the simplest form though. But in case you want to bring back the 5 that we divided from the original, that would have been that. I hope it works for you. Please make sure you subscribe, like it, and then leave a comment. See you in the next video.